This episode of SpectreSoundStudios is brought to you by Nail the Mix. Refine your mixing skills with world-class recording engineers for only $19.99 a month. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 61 of SMG Viewers Comments. Let's get right to it.
Hi Glenn, question. How far apart are your monitors? I'm looking to relocate my monitors and I noticed yours seem to be kind of far from each other. Is that helpful? Thanks for your great effort making these videos.
Actually, my monitors are part of an equilateral triangle, the third part being my mix position. Actually, my monitors are aimed to be just slightly behind the mix position. That's where their meeting point is, and that seems to be the optimum place for my body. As I always recommend, I suggest checking out the John Sayers Studio Design Forum. It is absolutely phenomenal. Check it out. They have tons of information on exactly that sort of thing. But in the short and sweet version is, yes, set your monitors up as an equilateral triangle. You'll do pretty well with that.
I'm currently attending college studying music business and technology. I plan on getting some recording equipment very soon. Any pro tips for a newbie on setting up shop?
Start out with what you can afford. I mean, like, we all start small. I started mixing on a set of home stereo speakers and just kind of worked my way up. I went through a bunch of different monitors before I found something I was really happy with. Went through a bunch of different audio interfaces. I started out with something called the Digital Wings for Audio by a company called Metalithic Systems. But what I'd recommend is, budget for what your project is going to be. I mean, like, if you're just recording yourself at home, like doing some guitar demos with some, synthesized drums or whatnot, or samples, you're probably only going to need a 2-channel interface, and there's plenty of those around for not very much money. If you're going to be recording live drums, obviously your expense is going to go way up because you need more interface inputs, you need more mics, preamps, the whole 9 yards. So budget wisely. There's tons of great information out there, and I do want to do some videos in the very near future about how to set up as an up-and-coming engineer, especially from the equipment standpoint. So look for that in the future.
Hey Glenn, I have this situation on my band. I have his bandmate couldn't any criticism from other bandmates for his bad playing. And when we criticize him, he acts like a woman. Won't stop talking about us criticizing him. What should I do? Help.
Take some English lessons first thing, please. You have no idea how hard it is to say that out loud. People, when you're gonna write in, okay, try and do it in coherent English. I mean, like, if English isn't your first language, okay, fine, that's a viable excuse. But in the meantime, step it up a little bit. It's very difficult to say this stuff out loud as you write it. Anyway, tell your bandmate to man up and start fucking practicing, because good things come to those who practice, and good musicianship comes to those who practice. If he's not putting an effort in, he needs to put an effort in. And if you guys if he's whining about you guys criticizing him, he only has himself to blame.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on people who think it is necessary to blade themselves for cheap entertainment. We had a show canceled recently since the band before us did just that and got the stage and several pieces of other people's equipment covered in blood.
Blackie Lawless said something once I thought that was really prophetic. Had an incident where he had like a codpiece, shooting out pyrotechnics, and it actually exploded on him. And he said it was like hitting the nuts with a Louisville Slugger. And, after the show, they were looking at each other in the dressing room and they said, we wouldn't have to do this if we wrote better songs. I always thought that was fantastic, So if you see guys, cutting themselves up on stage, that's just fucking neurotic as far as I'm concerned. Especially getting their blood all over other people's gear. It goes back to how to get your band ready for the stage, where I say don't be a dick to the other bands. Believe me, that definitely falls under being a dick to the other bands. If they're going to do that kind of thing, they're probably not going to be gigging very long, because I'm sure a lot of club owners just won't put up with that and won't book them ever again. Just remember the band's name and, take some pictures and put that shit up on social media. Look what these guys did to our gear, show ruined because of these guys, that sort of thing. Make them be responsible for their actions.
Hey Glenn, was just wondering, since you're friends with Joey Sturgis, and I don't know if you addressed this other than the Autotune video, but you seem to be big on talent recording ethics. Joey recorded Asking Alexandria, which was heavy on the Autotune and still is. Do you and Joey ever come to blows about his willingness to use pitch correction and Autotune in the studio?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. The short version is this, it's like Joey's a friend, and I respect the man not only as a person but also as an engineer, because I do understand the sheer amount of effort he puts into making those records. I don't have to actually like the music, but I can certainly respect it on a professional level.
Tool doesn't give a single fuck about step 1.
And when your band can play at the level that Tool does, you believe me, that rule won't apply to you either. In the meantime, be entertaining.
Hi, which recording software do you recommend for a beginner like me to start recording demos at home? Recordings without real drums? Is it too much to start with Logic or Pro Tools straight away? Or shall I go for something like Adobe Audition or similar? Let me know your thoughts, please. Greeting from a Spanish in London. I'm a bass player, by the way, and don't feel offended about your jokes. Keep up the good job.
Go with whatever you like, man. I mean, like, you got to start somewhere. I mean, you know, if you want to go with Pro Tools, I'm sure they've got like a lower end edition where you don't have to drop a shit ton of money on it. Then again, I could be wrong. You know, you guys who are up on the Pro Tools end of things, hey, let me know. Leave a comment and let's find out what's going on there.
Glenn, this will be my wedding song.
Thank you so much. You know, we really worked our asses off on that one, especially after we had the aborted first version. I really wanted to do something that would do the song justice. That song was a lot tougher to do than I thought it was going to be, and I'm so grateful that there's so many people out there who enjoy it. Siegfried gave a truly inspired performance on that one, and I'm so lucky to have been part of that. Okay, guys, just going to take a second here to talk about the show's sponsor, Nail the Mix. It's a monthly subscription tutorial piece where you get multi-tracks and you mix a song and you enter it into a contest, and at the end you get to win something really cool like this Aphex channel right here, which I got a review coming up on very soon. And then at the end of the month they have a name mixer, take the multi-tracks and mix them, and then show you exactly how they did it over video, and it's absolutely spectacular. I've picked up so many cool mix tricks from this program. It's freaking outstanding. And of course, this month, the guest mixer is Mr. Adam Nolly Getgood from Periphery. He's going to be mixing one of the new tracks off the new record. It's gonna be absolutely awesome. Check out Nail the Mix. The link is in the description below. Back to the regular show.
Can you publicly tell my brother why Autotune is bad? I can't seem to be getting through to him, and he didn't want to watch your video on why Autotune sucks. Hint, he is a bass player, so try to put it in words he can understand. Thanks, and keep up the great work.
Try to put it in terms a bass player can understand. Oh man, why do you guys ask the impossible? Let's just put it this way, okay? In the records I listened to when I was growing up, we had these things called inspired performances, and that's when musicians push themselves and vocalists push themselves. Nowadays, that doesn't happen. It's like, okay, close enough, we'll fix it. And we don't get those inspired performances anymore. The emotion is being edited out. The human element is being censored, basically. And, you know, records just don't really, you know, set your hair on end anymore. And that's because, again, you know, they're getting to become too perfect. Believe me, I'd rather hear somebody a little pitchy every now and then and give it everything they got than somebody half-assing it and then have a computer fix it.
Maybe a person already asked you, but what shampoo and conditioner do you use on your hair?
Yeah, you know, I'm 46 and still have a full head of hair, believe me. I am so freaking lucky. Shampoo and conditioner really changes. It's like whatever's cheap. I don't waste a lot of money on that stuff. The one thing I do use is called John Frieda Frizzies, and that keeps my hair from going all over the fucking place when it gets really humid out. That stuff's fantastic. And other than that, fuck it, just get whatever's cheap.
The coolest thing about Glenn is that he doesn't carry himself like a celebrity. It's the same genuineness of a small-time YouTuber with under 1,000 subscribers with the polish of a big-time one.
Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate the compliment, but let me stop you right there. I'm not a celebrity. I'm a working class dude, just like the vast majority of you guys. I've had a day job for 22 years and run a studio for the last 18. You know, we work around people's schedules. Like, nobody has their days free, you know, and it's a lot of weekends. It's a lot of holiday weekends working and that sort of thing. So believe me, I'm still very much connected to my blue collar roots, and I still have a day job. So I am no better than any of you guys out there. I've just been doing it longer, and you know, thank you so much for following me on this crazy fucking YouTube thing, because this has gone way beyond anything I could have dreamed.
Hey Glenn, my friends tell me that I take your advice too seriously and that his old techniques are just that, old. But there's a reason your videos sound as good as they do. What should I tell them besides shut the fuck up and let me produce? It didn't work the first time, and it probably won't get through to these assholes anytime soon.
Well, you know, when they make million-selling records that everybody, you know, is lining it up to get their hands on or downloading like crazy or whatnot, or they put it on a YouTube video that gets hundreds and thousands of downloads, okay, then they might have a point. But until that happens, I do have some very helpful advice for them. Shut the fuck up! You might just learn something!
Has there ever been a time where you had a really good bassist?
Actually, you know, as of late, I've been very fortunate to have some phenomenal bass players come in. Mr. Keith Wilkinson's played on a lot of stuff. He played on Moon on the Water, and he's done a bunch of demos for me, on the Dark Glass stuff. We actually just did some demo work for the Dark Glass compressor pedal. That's going to be coming up very soon. We just did that tonight. Again, we had Philippe from Angra play on the Pure Perception demo. That guy was absolutely spectacular as well. Calvin Love, I've had come in and play on a few demos. He used to play in a band called Perpetuate that I used to record. Again, phenomenal bass player. I'm very fortunate to have recorded a lot of great bass players in the last couple of years. The other 16 years I was recording, not so much.
The Idiot Grip SM58 didn't sound all that bad in my opinion.
Next time, I suggest listening to the demo on something other than your cell phone speaker, because you would have to be deaf to think that sounded good.
That talented band's biggest mistake they will ever make is to have hired you as a producer.
And the fact that you have the word bass in your screen name tells me that the butthurt is quite strong with this one. Cry me a fucking river, quit bitching on the internet, and go fucking practice! Okay, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out Nail the Mix. Again, the guest mixer this month is Nolly from Periphery. That's going to be absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, and by the way, I have a new shirt design in the store. Check this out. This is an original creation by an artist named Acid Toad. He's been working on it the entire summer. I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. It's brand new in the store. It's available as a shirt and a hoodie, and the shirts come in the light and the dark. Really freaking cool. Check it out at spectremedia.ca/shop. All right, I'm out of here. Have a great weekend, everybody.